Most people wake up in the morning and think about their problems. These problems are associated with specific memories, and those memories are connected to specific people and things. Your brain is like an old tape recorder that plays the same tape for you every day. If your brain is a record of the past, then as soon as you start your day, you are already thinking and living in the past. Each memory has an emotion, and emotions are the end product of past experiences. So, the moment you recall the memories of your problems, you suddenly feel unhappy, sad, and in pain. How you think and feel creates your state of being. In other words, it creates your character. If your entire state when you start the day is in the past, it means sooner or later your past will become your future. For example, something that happened yesterday made you angry. Today you wake up and think about it and feel angry again. Continue this for 2 days and people will think you are having a bad day. Continue for a week and people will think you are in a bad mood. If you continue long enough, anger will soon become part of your character. You will be known as someone who is always angry. As you can see, your thoughts have something to do with your destiny. In other words, if you keep thinking about the past, you will keep creating the same life. Without realizing it, you keep creating the same life that you don't even like. Here's how this usually happens. You wake up and grab your phone. You check your Instagram, check your WhatsApp, read some emails or text messages. Then you check the news and now finally feel truly connected to everything known in your life. Then you go through a series of routine behaviors. You get out of bed on the same side, go to the bathroom, have a cup of coffee in your favorite mug, shower, get dressed, and take the bus or drive the same route. Finally, you get to work and see the same people pressing the same emotional buttons. When work is over, you rush home to do the same things tomorrow. This becomes your routine, and the routine functions like a computer program, and now you have lost your free will to a program. It is no longer you running the show, but your subconscious. 95% of who we are by the time we are 35 years old is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional responses, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a program. So, you may say, with your 5% conscious mind, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy, I want to be free. However, the body is controlled by a different program. You are setting 5% of your conscious mind against the 95% of your subconscious mind. It's like setting a skinny guy against an Olympic weightlifter in a weightlifting competition. No wonder you can't make any changes and end up reverting to the old program and creating the same life. So, how do you start making changes? Well, you need to get beyond the analytical mind, because what separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind is the analytical mind. And this is where meditation comes in. Through the practice of meditation, you can learn how to change and slow down brain waves. If you do it correctly, you can enter the operating system where you can make fundamental changes. Most people wait for a crisis, trauma, disease, or diagnosis to begin to change. Joe Dispenza's message is this: why wait for negative things to happen? You can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. Most people spend 70% of their lives surviving, living under stress. So you always expect the worst-case scenario based on past experiences. They literally select negative things from the infinite potential of the quantum field. You choose the worst possible outcome. It's like looking at a menu with endless amounts of food and drink and choosing the worst option. That's how it happens. Every time you remember the negative event, you produce the same chemistry in the brain and body as if the event were happening again. They send the same emotional signals to the body. Your body is, in a way, your unconscious mind. Your body doesn't know the difference. Your body thinks the event is actually happening now. Most people constantly renew their negative emotional states by constantly thinking about them. So, when it's time to let go of that negative emotion, they may say, I really want to change. The problem is that the body is stronger than the mind. The body has been conditioned to negative emotions for years. The body was once a servant, but now it has become the master. Suddenly, when you decide to change and step into the unknown, the body doesn't like it. The body would feel guilty and regretful because it feels familiar and can predict this. Being in the unknown is a terrible place for the body. Stepping into the unknown is like jumping into a deep river. The body knows that if it manages to get to the other side of the river, it will die. It will do everything it can to stop you. That's why, as soon as you start meditating, suddenly your nose starts to itch. You remember an important task you had to do out of nowhere. Here you have a memory from 20 years ago. This is your body saying, "Come on, let's give up and go back to our miserable old life." The body has many tools and will use each one to keep you from stepping into the unknown. The unknown is the best place to create your future, and the easiest way to step into the unknown is through meditation. When you are in a deep meditative state, you can begin to create your future. What new life do you want? What behavior do you want to demonstrate? What kind of person do you want to be? The act of mentally closing your eyes and rehearsing the things or behaviors you want in your life is the best way to create your future. When you are truly present, the brain does not know the difference between fantasy and real experiences. Through the act of imagination, you install the software programs of your future life. Now your brain is no longer a record of the past, it is a map of the future. And if you keep doing this, who knows, you may start acting like a happy person. The hardest part is teaching your body emotionally what the future will be like before the actual experience. Simply imagining is not enough. You have to feel it emotionally in your body. If thoughts are the language of the brain, feelings are the language of the body. It is through feelings and emotions that your body understands what your mind is telling you. If you don't feel anything, it means your body is not receiving the signal. It's like being in your room, the internet modem is working, but you can't connect because you've turned off the Wi-Fi on your phone. Once you feel the emotions of your thoughts, you are connected to the internet and can start downloading your future life. And do you know what that means? It means you no longer have to wait for success to feel successful. You don't have to wait for wealth to feel rich. You don't have to wait for your new relationship to feel love. According to the quantum model of reality, when you start to feel rich and worthy, you generate wealth. Once you feel it, you start taking a step towards your future. Well, that means you are the creator of your future. You no longer live as a victim saying things like, "I am this way because of this person, or this experience." Unfortunately, many people today are victims of their own negative thoughts from the past. Most people don't realize this, but here's the thing about thoughts. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true. Let me repeat, just because you have a thought doesn't mean you should act on it. On average, you have 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. 90% of those thoughts are the same as the day before. If your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, then your life will not change much because the same thought leads to the same decisions. The same choice leads to the same behavior creates the same experience, and the same experience creates the same emotion. That's why it's so important to meditate so you can become more aware of how you think, act, and feel. The more aware you are, the less likely unwanted thoughts will uncontrollably infiltrate your consciousness. The word meditation means to become familiar. So, when you become familiar with the thoughts, behaviors, and emotions of the old self, you no longer allow them to influence you. Instead, you begin to have new thoughts and condition the body to a new emotional state. If you do this long enough, this new emotional state will become familiar. Creating a new self is like creating a new garden. First, you need to get rid of the weeds and stones. Then you need to pull out last year's plants and prepare the soil. Only then can you start planting. Meditation works in a similar way. You are preparing the garden, and it is not an easy task. Training your body to sit and meditate is like training a wild animal or a dog. You tell it to sit here and wait, but it runs away, so you catch it and bring it back. But of course, it runs away again, and you have to catch it and bring it back. The moment you start a meditation, the body says, "Hey, it's 8 o'clock. Normally, you read emails and get angry during this time, but here you are sitting and doing nothing. You are off schedule. And so, for years, we have been angry together during this time, but suddenly you will change like this. The body begins to send signals. The body is basically seeking that predictable chemical state and doesn't care that it's a toxic state. Every time you become aware of what your body is doing and bring your attention to the present moment, you are telling the body it is no longer the mind and that you are the mind. And now your will becomes greater than the program. If you do this repeatedly, like a trained dog, the body will sit and obey. The moment the body surrenders, there is a release of energy. You move from particles to waves, from matter to energy, and you free yourself from the chains of those emotions that keep you in the familiar past. If you do this for just 7 days, you will start to see differences in your life. You will begin to control yourself more often and avoid reverting to your old unhappy self. Of course, you need to repeat this process long enough until your future reality becomes your present reality.